Hello, my name is Chris Woodpan. I'm the owner of Ink & Film Studios, and I am working with HeroTime to make a bunch of videos to help you get your products ready for print. In this week's episode, we're going to be starting our dive into color. Color management within all the different programs you're going to use is very, very important, because this is going to determine what your final product looks like versus what you think it will look like. If everybody's talking the same language and doing the same things, there's a lot of ways that you can ensure that the final result is what you set out to do in the first place. So we're going to spend a few minutes in Photoshop and Illustrator just to show how they handle color differently, because what I find is when I'm working on something, I tend to begin in Photoshop doing the artwork, or the artist has a piece that's already done, and that tends to be in a color profile that might be slightly different from what I need in my end result. So I then bring it into Illustrator, in which I can do all my text and graphic design on top of the item. So this is really a dance between the two programs, and understanding some of the dialog boxes that are going to pop up as you're working are going to be important. Now, if you remember from previous episodes, CMYK, it literally means cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. The white of the paper in the background is what provides the lightness for the colors, and then we just layer colors on top. On a computer monitor, it's using a different technology, and it's mixing red, green, and blue together with the light that's coming behind in the form of a backlight, your LED or whatever's lighting your panel. And then that is shining through these three color dots, and then that is what's making it. For each pixel, you have all three of those colors incorporated, and how much they turn on or off will determine how much the color is. And they're all coming out at the same time. They're clustered next to each other, so the light only has to pass through one barrier, as opposed to print where it has to pass through all the colors. Also, light is a lot brighter than paper. Even if you have great paper, you're still going to have some difference there when you go to print something versus when you see something on a screen. More on that in a future episode, but that's the grand overview. So let's get back into Photoshop. Now, let's say an artist gave me this piece that is this butterfly I drew, but they did it in RGB. That's fine. Again, that's not a big deal. If I go up here under image mode, you can see here that this is RGB. I have other options with the CMYK, the grayscale, and things like that. Another way we can access that is over here with our properties panel. And this is handy if you want to see everything at a glance. So this kind of is a great panel to have, and you can always get that through here under your window, and then click properties if you don't see it. This gives me some quick actions, and I can select right here to change this. So if I change this to CMYK, then just hit yes, because I do want to convert this. All right, and just like that, we've converted it. Now the trick here is you'll need to resave that. Butterfly and CMYK, just so I know that I already did that. So here we are in Illustrator, and you want to make sure that your document is set up in CMYK. So if I go over here to document color mode, I can instantly swap between the two. Again, nice and simple, just like it was for our Photoshop. It's not too hard to switch. Just make sure that you're aware of what you're working in. All right, so if I drag my butterfly in here, let's scale that down. And let's say I want this to be the background image of my card. So we're going to expand it to cover the bleed area. All right, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to create a quick little mask that will allow that to look like our card, and then you can see here, there's our bleed. Sometimes it'll ask you if you want to convert, depending on how you have your preferences set up. You do want to convert that image on the way in if it asks you. Just remember to always just double check your color mode and make sure you're in CMYK. So there you have it. That's just a really quick introduction to the differences between color space and how to hop around between them. This is going to really set up what we're going to be talking about in the next issues, and it's very important to understand exactly how color works. We've talked in the past about the difference between RGB and CMYK, but just know that CMYK relies on the light from the paper to actually make the colors happen, whereas RGB on your screens is only one layer with pixels that are just side by side in a very small cluster with a very bright light behind it to make that color. So it's a very different technology. Hope you found that helpful. Tune in next week. We're going to definitely dive a little bit deeper into the CMYK and the color mixing. We're going to just really spend a good chunk of time talking about how do I keep my colors from becoming muddy or washed out. We're going to work on that in the next one and just see what we can find out. So tune in next time.